from the
Same place as trap music, this that first react music. They can't hold me back, I'm feeling good cause I'm black music. Can't nobody touch this, my flow I can't rush this. Put them on silence when I'm talking, you should hush bitch. I am from the heavy base, my bro called a heavy case. Got a couple.
Good evening and welcome back to another episode of Cigar Sundays Live, where we define, analyze, and examine words used in American culture. And tonight, we will be smoking on the word war. So grab your thinking caps and get ready to smoke on words with two big nerds. I am Chef Earl Pearl at DBCHEFTV, always with the God, Ali Dawood L at BK Soul Farm.
All day.
And we are the Cigarden Panel. Peace, God.
Peace, God. What you dealing with?
Man, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Hey, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
All the superheroes.
All the superheroes.
Yes, indeed. It was Flag Day yesterday too. So shout out to all the soldiers and everybody who is sacrificing, paid the ultimate sacrifice, and has put their life on the line for this country, for our country that we live in. So it's been a star-studded weekend, and we getting into this thing, this war. We got a war going on right now. We seen Israel popped off against Iran, and very strategic like, but my big thing is that when there's a war, it's a lot of casualties. So it's one of them things where it's like, man, is it worth it? Is it necessary? But the biggest thing is we really don't know what is defined as, and maybe that's it. Maybe because we don't know what war is defined as. We know what we see it as. A lot of death and destruction. It's definitely not peace. It's definitely not people coming together and compromising and working things out, and and overcoming problems. And it's definitely not that. It's definitely a bunch of destruction and people getting hurt. So we're gonna define it tonight and peel some layers back on this war. I had a clip. I have to say I am completely unprepared for tonight because man, I had so much going on, with upcoming events and things like that.
Word.
And then so many people calling me, like I don't even have children, but but I've played a father role, I guess. At least that's what they say. I just be being me and just trying to share some of the knowledge that I have been fortunate enough to have with people. But I got a lot of wishes today, and people really just calling just to chop it up, because we don't really chop it up. So like on the holidays and stuff like that, people call you.
Hell yeah.
So that's really how I treat it, because I definitely salute all the fathers and daddies, granddaddies, So if y'all new to the channel, make sure to like and share this video. Also subscribe. And we define the word, and we have 3 questions that we shape our word around. So tonight, y'all, I don't even have 3 questions. That's how unprepared I am, that I don't even have.
I thought you asked 1 question already. Was it worth it?
Is it worth it? So that's what we do. Our first question we know by heart. What do you think of when you hear the word war? And we just gonna kind of freestyle it tonight. But I promise y'all, next episode we're gonna be back on track. It just got a lot going on. But I also wanted to start tonight's show with a clip from The Fifth Element, where the young lady is the what is she called? I don't know what her name is called or whatever.
But no, she was loved though, right?
I don't even know, but whatever she was, because she had some name or something like that, and she was typing in war. She was typing in the word war, and then all these clips popped up, you know, of world history of all the conflicts and wars that we've had, you know, and she began to cry, you know, and I was like, I wanted to make the point that, you know, y'all can go check that out. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna put the link in the description. I'm not even gonna play it, but it's amazing how we are so numb to war now. It's amazing how we'll hear about a war, and because it isn't, we see the riots and everything like that. Like that stuff is televised, and that stuff is streamed. You know, there are reporters on the ground showing it. When we see the wars now, we get certain scenes, but we don't see like like the Romanian and Ukraine war been going on for I don't know how long now. But
The Russia and Ukraine.
yeah, Russia and Ukraine war. That's been going on for I don't know how long now, but we haven't seen bodies being pulled out. You know, we haven't seen people being hit with bombs and stuff. Kind of like how visually traumatizing the Vietnam War was televised. You know, so we haven't seen things like that. And now because we don't see that, you know, it's like in a comparison to the movie, The Fifth Element, in that particular scene, you know, the girl was seeing that, and then she began, you know, her emotions began to, you know, to reflect that. And now, like, we just hear about some bombs being dropped or whatever, and it's just like, well, they ain't dropping that shit on us, so we don't give a shit. You know, like nobody just even cares. Nobody thinks about either side. You know, either side, either the people getting bombed, the people doing the bombing, you know, the retaliation. So I thought that was real interesting how it just, you know, how it's just numb, like how American society, like we just kind of numb to it. You know, everybody's more engaged in these protests and things like that, which they, you know, which everybody have a right to be engaged in the protest, but it's like the ICE thing. Um, you know, people hype about that. People hype about uh the No King. What was that? The No Kings peaceful protest or whatever. That was something that was going on during the army expose. When the commander in chief was doing that thing yesterday.
Yeah.
So that it kind of reminded me of, because we haven't seen that. It kind of reminded me of when we see pictures of like the Chinese army or the Iranian military, or you know, the other foreign militaries, and they do their parade and they have military parades.
Yeah.
You know, it reminded me of that. It was like, oh, okay, so we doing that too now. Okay.
And apparently that costs like $40 or $50 million to do it.
Yeah.
Right. They you know, so I don't know, man. Like you bring up a lot of great talking points and a lot of great points, period. You know, when you talk about the idea of us being desensitized, you know, well, I guess we could just start at is it worth it? Right? The answer to that question undoubtedly will be yes. to the parties that's actually engaging in war, that's not actually in danger, right? To the people that's financing it, and making it happen for the financial benefits that casualties unfortunately bring, right? When you can play, not play, I don't want to say play, when you can counterpart off of somebody's fear and use their fear to cause them to strike back or to strike first, right? Because you made them flinch, and their response to the flinch is to actually full swing. And now you saying they hit you first, and I'm saying, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's perspective. Um, is never worth it to the actual combatants on either side, right? Because the combatants on both sides are losing the same amount of things, right? Neither one of them, doesn't matter which side wins, actually wins, right? I mean, I guess the people that survive win. Um, so there's no benefit to them, right? But to everybody else that's involved in economy, right? Like you gotta get an opportunity to just raise your prices because we're at war, and you can just tell the people, like, what you want me to do? We're at war. I get to raise my prices. I gotta raise my prices because it's tougher to get. It's costing me more money to ship it, whether it is or it isn't. Right.
But if it is though, then it's fair.
If it is, it's fair.
If it
Like,
is, it's fair. Yeah, like what is it? The Straits of Hormuz right now
yeah,
that Iran could possibly shut down, and that's where 20% of the world's fuel or oil
correct.
comes through. So it's like, if they shut that down, I mean, that was something that Trump was like, warning them to not do.
Yeah, but even with that though, like you would imagine prices will go up uniformly across the board at all gas stations. It wouldn't be price gouging, so to speak, where it goes up to, like, now let's say something crazy like $10 a gallon.
Well, they pay that in Europe. They pay that in Europe for a liter.
That's crazy.
For a
Right.
liter. Yeah, that's common. That's very common in Europe for a liter. Not even a gallon. We pay for gallons over here. But
Yo.
but that is, but like not going too far into that, but
Yeah.
like, but that point that you made is very valid. Like that's something that really happens, like those things. But other things happen too that we can capitalize on, like, okay, so like I give you an example. So since we talking about oil, right? So if I know that there's a potential for oil to go up based on a conflict, based on a war, all right, then me in my own little world here, and Chef Earl Pearl, all right, I'm gonna say, well, you know what? Let me go look at some petroleum stocks, okay, and some oil stocks.
Correct.
And I'm gonna take what little bit of money. I mean, I don't care if it's $200. If I can turn 200 into 800, then guess what?
Winning.
I'm winning. Like I
Winning.
don't need $200,000. Like that's people who don't know that you can make money.
Correct.
That's people who don't understand that it take money to make money, but you don't need a whole lot to make something. You
And I
just
think
need the
if
information and where to put it. You have to be paying attention to what's going on and be thinking like that, and be thinking like, yes, it's a lot of people that when they go get gas, it's going to cost them a lot more money out their pockets. when they, you know, it's going to cost them more money to get the kids back and forth to school. It's going to cost them more money to take that vacation. It's going to cost them more money to take that flight. Yeah.
Uber, Lyft, it's going to
To
cost more money.
Uber, Lyft, yes, all of these things.
Or
But
Dash, all that.
But guess what? I'm going to capitalize. I'm going to buy some gas company.
Hell yeah.
You know, because them folks still going to spend. They might not spend as much, but they still going to spend. So,
Correct.
because I have to do it too. I have to go to the grocery store. I have to go to the doctor's office. I have to go to, you know, see my mom and travel and do things. And so I'm not exempt from having to spend. I'm just saying I ain't going to just be a spender and just be a sucker and just be getting, you know, like, oh man, woe is me. I ain't walking around with my head down, like complaining about shit, because I'm aware that it all has a whole, you know, purpose. It has a whole thing that you can, if you know where to take advantage of the situation somewhat, then
and
you
take
can.
take that 200, turn it to 800 off of a war, whether you agree with it or disagree with it. Who cares?
Because I can't
happening.
control the war. Yeah.
It's happening. Who cares?
Yeah. I didn't tell Iran that they couldn't have a nuclear program. You know, I didn't say, hey, you can't have that. I don't even know, you know, why it's such a big deal. You know, I mean, because Iran hasn't been, you know, as far as I know, their regime hasn't. I know they attacked Israel like in 24. I know they, you know, they shot some missiles and stuff like that. But I'm like, that conflict been going on for like how many years? Like 300 years or some shit like that, you know.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't even understand the nuclear conflict or scare right now, right? Because so many people got them. If one person push a button, everybody else gonna push the button. That's gonna be it.
And I don't believe,
and nobody's gonna do that. Like
I don't think anybody wants that, because I think if somebody, I don't think Kim Jong-il, the South Korean guy, I know Putin don't want it. I don't think Iran wants it, because they love their children, and they want their children to have life, and they know that that is what they have to sacrifice.
Correct.
You know, so I keep thinking that, you know, that it's just like, okay, well, we'll just use this for whatever reason, and you know, it's a narrative, and you know, so I mean, and you got defense companies like Northrop Grumman and Raytheon. Like, man, I've been owning Raytheon for years. Raytheon been going up forever. Okay. Forever Raytheon been going up. Right. Because what they do, they in defense, they make missiles, but the government budget keep going up. So I look at these things, and that's how I look at it. Like,
correct.
If they say food prices gonna go up, or this, or we gonna have this or whatever, then guess what? I'm gonna buy some more Walmart. I'm gonna buy Coca-Cola. People still gonna have it. If they don't buy the Coca-Cola, then they're gonna go and buy the Walmart cola. So I'm gonna own the Walmart, and I'm gonna own Coca-Cola too. Because, and I don't need to own 400,000 shares of it, or be a you know, try to be this
$200,
man, $150. You know what I'm saying? I just need to get in the door and put something on it. You know what I'm saying? And watch it go up. Because people still going and spending the money. They still going to go spend the money in them places. So it's like, you know, only the most undereducated people complain about where they spend money at, because they don't know that they can own where they spend money at.
Yep.
They don't know. And even in relation to war, like when these things going up and going down and stuff, like you can still, it's still a way to, you know, to be able to capitalize. Like they call it I'm not one of them people that's mad that we a capitalistic system, because I know I can't change it. So like I'm not mad at it. You know, like I do understand the both sides of the coin, the negatives and the positives, you know, but if I'm not going to die to change the negatives, which most likely will happen, because the things that are considered the positives, the capitalizing off of it, it's like it's too many people who value the capitalizing off of it to protect it for, you know, one rogue person who think they can
Way too
change the
many
world.
people.
Like, it ain't, come on, like, it don't work like that. I'm not living in no fantasy land, you know.
Something as simple as like it's easy to say, right? Something as simple as not using the dollar anymore, right? To something as simple
That's
as
crazy.
just switch. If you just gonna switch currency,
To
okay.
what?
Very first question.
To what?
Right? And then everybody would have to agree on that currency being that currency and the value being what it is, and we would have to agree to that system, right? Like it'll like come on, man. Like,
I mean, we're here in America, like after 2020, I'm convinced, based on the things that happened, the series of events that happened with the 2020 situation, the pandemic situation, that if something were to happen, people just gonna accept whatever. People just gonna take it. Because it's so many different factors. I'm gonna put ignorance at the bottom of the list. I'm not even gonna put that at the top. I'm gonna say people have situations, employment situations, they have other responsibilities, they have some have the lack of resources to be able to say, okay, well, I don't have to use this. I have this other means. So those are like survival things, self-sustainability things, where it's like, damn, if I'm not prepared because I don't have this over here, then I have to accept this, because I have to maintain this over here. I have to make sure that this stays stable.
and that's the importance of a culture, because if you have a culture will give you the tools to help you make those decisions, right?
Yeah.
Like you.
Yeah, but I think we did black culture. Are we talking about black culture or American culture? Because American culture is the one we was just talking about. Black culture, oh no, the BET Awards was kind of funny this year.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. I mean, when I seen highlights from Kevin Hart and
Oh man,
him hosting, but
I saw one highlight talking about Kirk Franklin the dick twerking or some shit like that.
working, yeah,
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck, bro?
yeah, yeah,
I was like, all right.
yeah, yeah. It's crazy, but definitely those things, those things happen in, like you were saying, like using currency, which what it is specifically, it's not money.
Yeah,
But using the currency, yeah, like it's no doubt that if we had some sort of, let's say, natural emergency,
yeah,
okay, or some sort of situation, that we could just see digital see with it CBDC, digital bank, digital currency, or some type of digital currency implemented, and people wouldn't fight it. People would not fight it at all. You would have some people that would be like, no, we don't want this and all that, but like they not National Guard,
and
sending the troops.
as soon as the power go out, everybody just gonna be stuck. You know what I'm saying?
Then we have an EMP, what they call an EMP
You know what
thing.
I'm saying? Like, and I'm
Yeah.
just thinking, because I live down here in South Florida, I'm just thinking about hurricanes. I'm just thinking about regular natural nature, just taking your power out, and now all your digital currency can't move nowhere because you can't do nothing.
Because you can't transact, right? And like on the topic of that, because there seems to be, because the topic tonight, y'all, is war. We're gonna get into the
And I
definition.
think what we're talking about right now is actually warfare and not actually war. But yeah,
It could be, because some people will will rise up against it if that's what war is, rising up
Yeah,
against something. We're going to define it. But in that situation, like we have been using digital money since Dennis Club, since the
correct.
first credit card, you know. So that's a digital transaction. So if anybody's swiping, everybody on their phones doing this Apple Pays and all these things, like that's digital. You're not
Mhm.
exchanging any, currency, any, greenbacks, any fiat, no change, no quarters, no nickels, no dimes, none of that. So that's digital already. So that's why I think that a lot of people will already just, they just aren't aware of it. They still think like, oh, I can go to the ATM. Well, what if the ATM's just gone?
That's what I'm saying.
If
That's what I'm saying.
the banks just say, okay, we ain't doing no more ATMs. You
That's
got
what
to
I'm.
come inside and maybe get some money. And even now today, there's a certain amount that you can withdraw. So like, even if you want to go out and get a certain amount, go into the bank and get a certain amount of cash, you have to call the bank and set up an appointment. You can't just go in there. I don't care how much zeros you got in the bank. You can't just walk up in there and be like, hey, I'm coming to get, let me stop by the bank real quick and pick up 100 bands. You can't do it,
That now you talking about an episode of Straw,
you know?
right? You about to rob the bank.
So these things, these things already exist. If we see ATMs begin to dwindle, then we'll also see that transition. But I mean, for the most part, I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal. Like I don't keep no cash. I hardly ever have cash unless I need it for something. I don't have no cash. I be too busy trying to get points on these cards.
No, that's a fact. But my point is always that in case of emergencies, you always go back to having cash. Like we don't talk about, well, most people don't talk about having gold or precious metals to exchange or barter with or do whatever. You go get fiat. You go get fiat on hand so that you can quote unquote be safe and secure. Right. So
Yeah, that's old school. Get some cash under the mattress type shit. Like
you know what I'm saying? Like nah, like they
I
at the
don't.
job.
I be short.
Hurricane
Be
preparedness
super
is
short
hurricane preparedness is has some
for
cash on
real.
you.
Yeah, whatever's in my wallet, that's it. Whatever's in my wallet, that's it.
You
You know,
ain't lying, guys.
I
And
look,
not for nothing. That's
I
why,
keep some bags of charcoal, couple bags of rice, some beans, cans of beans and shit like
yo,
that. You know what I'm saying? So
and
like,
that's why I keep so much food growing around my house because I would be short too, right? Like, cause I'm like, man, like I lose. I'm the type to lose money, so it's like, nah, I can't just keep cash on me like that.
yeah, so I'm just like, I ain't even worried about it. I don't want nobody. I want it, I want yeah, I want if you break in and I'm here, then I get to shoot you because you broke in for nothing. Because what nothing up in here. Tell them come clean your ass up for real.
Hell
Because
yeah,
ain't nothing in here for real. That's what I'm saying. Like that's what the day has come to. Like it's even a war on that. Where like the day has come to, where it's like people don't even want to keep cash in their house for emergencies. It used to be a day where you can sleep with your door open. You ain't even have to worry about, with your door locked, with your door unlocked.
that's true.
But it's like, well, now you gotta have cameras, for neighbors, and
Three,
like shit is
yo, not
ridiculous
yo,
now.
not only check it out, God. You got cameras, 360 outside the house, and you got cameras on the inside the house.
Right. Like it just
Right, like
it's crazy. It's crazy to me. It's almost like you have to be at war even in your own home.
there's no peace.
Like you can't even get peace in your own home. Like, and that's why I be like, man,
Yo, and that was one of my
it's
that was
just ridiculous.
one of my thoughts to your question of is it worth it? The question I had was how do you handle a bully? You know, in reference to what you're saying, no peace in your own home. I'm saying a bully is coming kicking in your door, right? Talking about I want what's in here because I'm too lazy to go out there and work and do what the hell you
Oh, how do
did.
you handle them?
Right? That's what I'm saying. This is war. You go to
Five
war.
sixes. Five sixes.
You know
That's
what
how
I'm
you
saying?
handle 'em.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's war, right? Like so is it worth it? Like if somebody is constantly saying, nah, this is mine, and you saying no, this is actually mine, right? And they saying, I don't care what you saying, this is still mine. The bully won't stop being a bully until you resolve that, and y'all might have to drag this fight out, right? And they people might get involved, and your people might get involved, right? All because somebody is trying to take from somebody else.
Well, you know, when you realize that you have people in that situation, you know, um, as far as somebody coming in your house, like I don't worry about that. You know, you come in the house, then you bold. You know what I'm saying?
You dumb.
Like you bold. You know, I would just say if you come in the house, like I'm not doing that. I'm not stupid enough to do that.
Hey,
You
real
know,
quick. Hey, to the people out there that's doing these kick in the door pranks, stop it. It
it's
is
a
not.
prank now. It's kicking the door prank.
Yeah, like it's like a funny thing.
Oh no,
Right?
I ain't seen that. You gotta send me some of that on social media. I ain't seen
Right?
that because
Yeah, like it's part of
yeah,
it seemed like it evolved from the Kool-Aid Man thing, where they run into the fences and knock people fences over to this kicking the door thing and running, but like kicking like they kicking the like kicking the door like they trying to get in that mug, right?
yeah,
And that's dangerous, right?
yeah.
Because
Well, I'm in a state that you can rat you can rat a tat tat through the door.
no,
So
like that's what I'm saying. Like it
yeah,
warrants that. Like it warrants it,
yeah. You know, I mean,
right? And I'm not
unless it's law enforcement, and if law enforcement come to my door, like you know what I'm saying, like I'm opening the door. Hey, what's going on? Like, so
facts. Like
I don't have no problem with law enforcement, but anybody coming trying to get inside unannounced and you know unasked, yeah, like it's a no brainer. We're not even gonna play with that. But that's why I was saying, like, I wouldn't do no shit like that, you know. And what we have to realize is that is even, you know, people want communities, but they don't know how to act in communities. I think like some people desire community, but they're used to neighborhoods, you
yeah,
know, they're used to chaos and shit like that, you know.
that's why we did the show about culture and
Yeah.
trying to figure out that like it's so confusing and everybody got everything mixed up. Like, and that's how we get to what you're talking about right now. Like, I want I want the Huxtables, but I don't. Where's that at?
You know, but a lot of times is like, you know, you may have to share that. You may have to be the example, you know.
That's true too.
You may have to sacrifice some things where it's like, you know what, okay, I'll sacrifice you thinking I'm this or that because you don't know me, you know, and I don't have no ego about shit.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I've been left that a long time ago. If I wanted to be the nigga that you wanted to see, you know what I'm saying? I would show you the worst version because I done been that. And I'm blessed and fortunate enough that I can be here and talk about it without having to go spend a whole bunch of time in jail or losing my life, you know? So that's what I'm thankful for, you know? But I don't brag on my shit, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not one of them people. I got plenty of homeboys that call me all the time. And I'd be like, man, I'm going to holler at you. Because you know why? All they want to sit around it, man, remember this, remember that, remember this, remember. And I'm just like, they haven't grown from none of that shit. They still on that. They come, man, if you need me, I don't need you to do none of that shit. I need you to be what the fuck I'm on now, family. You know what I'm saying? I need you to be, why do you don't want to be on what I'm on now? What we on now is, and I done went to the military, we traveled the world, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, bro, like my mind is before I would have been one of them people like, oh man, you know, it's high, Walmart, how the dollar store 25 cents now and all this, and man, and Trump got it fucked up and Biden got it fucked up and everybody. I don't give a shit who the president is. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a shit who your senator is, who your local congressperson is. I don't give a fuck about none of that. I'm watching what's going on. I'm watching this economy because that ain't what they teaching us in school.
Nope.
Okay. And I'm watching my surroundings because if I have to live there, then I care about the people I live around. It ain't fuck you. It ain't fuck everybody I live around. It ain't, I ain't on that. You know what I'm saying?
Because they right there, God.
Because you right here, you know, and the type of human I am, because I can easily take a life. That ain't shit. That ain't shit. I could take a life without blinking. Okay. But giving life, sharing life, okay, helping people grow and be better. That to me is something that if I do more of that before my last breath, then I'll feel better about dying. I don't give a fuck about what they think, you know? So the only way that you can do that is lead by example. You know, it's a cliche that we heard, you know, if you want to be the change that you want to see, I think President Obama said, if you want to see the change, then you have to be the change that you want to see, right?
Yeah.
So I actually do it. The problem is people be so evil and be so fucked up in their own self. They be mad at you for not trying to be like them. And that's why I'd be like, I'm not on your level. I'm not above it or below it. I'm on a different level. But I'm not above it or below it. I'm just on a different level. The way what I exemplify, you can meet me on that level. You can meet me there if you want to. My hand is always extended, okay? But we ain't gonna be on no bullshit. You know, like my granddad used to say, bullshit a baker, you get a bun. Bullshit me, you get none. I just ain't gonna fuck with you because guess what? It in the words of Jay-Z, it costs me nothing to pay you no mind. You know? And if you just an antagonizer and you really don't want to fight, you really don't want to kick a door, you know what I'm saying? Then you ain't no threat. If you really don't want to kick a door, you ain't no threat for real. You know what I'm saying?
Just doing it for pranks.
Yeah, you just, you know what I'm saying? You just think you got somebody that you can possibly affect, but you ain't got no control over them, you know? So you need to control what you can and build upon that the same way I do. I control what I can and I build upon that, you know? And that's it. That's why we don't be tripping off of who doing what and being all in people business and shit like that. I got so much of my own shit that I got going on, family members and things like that. Like I don't give a fuck about what, you know, but if we're gonna be on community, then like I said, you have to be the example. You know, you have to sometimes sacrifice yourself. And if I ain't scared to die, then I ain't worried about sacrificing myself. You know, but you got it. But don't be a fool. Don't be trying to sacrifice yourself around killers. You know? But if you ain't never been in the trenches before, you know, then you don't know that. Because you will let that wolf in sheep's clothing come around you and act like they're your friend. And then they'll eat your ass up. So, you know, that's war. That's a war we fighting right now, a civil war that we fighting amongst each other. You got the light skin, dark skin shit, all these things that we got that's been coming from the whole slavery narrative and all of these teachers and trauma from all that. And then all the shit that we just keep on regurgitating and allow to keep on happening. So we got a race war within each other. Oh, you light skin. Oh, you black. Oh, you from the north. Oh, you from the south. Oh, you goofy, oh you lame, oh you uppity, oh you bougie, oh you this, oh you that, right? So we got those wars going on, the ignorant wars. All right. Then we got the shit about, oh, the immigrants and this and the chaos with that, with you know, who taking jobs and who not taking jobs, who the fuck don't want to work, who ain't looking for no job. We got that war going on, you know, the war of who's going to be the best employee. All right. We got the war with the police going on, and the police brutality and the unjustified killings, and the people who, you know, who champion that shit and the people who against it, and all of those narratives. So we got so many social conflicts with the economy, to this, to that. We got the global wars. We got, I mean, it's just like, I'd be happy to get some fucking peace. You
Yo,
know what I'm saying? When you can
that's how
get
we
it.
get desensitized though, right? When it's so much, it's like, oh, another war. Oh, okay, because we already at war already, like in so many different facets and assets, um, uh, of our daily life. You know, the video games especially, right, contribute to introducing, like, so the video games do two things, right? It is definitely a tool to train future warriors, right? In the age of drone technology, all these gaming platforms that offer this type of control, right? And these kids get to drop bombs, and, or not kids, but these players get to drop bombs and kill each other, and they get to learn every real weapon known to man and the capabilities of them, and get to simulate their destruction over and over and over again. And then we get the movies where they actually put real people, and we actually get to see them blow stuff up like Rambo, right? And what's his name? Die Hard with Bruce
Action
Willis.
Jackson, baby.
Action, you know what I'm
Action
saying?
Jackson.
You know what I'm saying, right? Like, and because they real people, it's like you can see yourself as them, right? And it's like, yeah, I want to do that too, right? So here it is, you go from a video game to a real movie, right? And it's like, it's just, then you get the little stories from your music, right? The music today is marketed to be negatively hot, right? Like is dumping. Like it got rhythm, it got good cadence, it pop, like it got good memorability, like everything that make a good song. It has all the elements except for pure lyrical content,
I'm
right?
gonna say some love in it.
Yeah, so I said pure lyrical content to be nice, right? Because
Now, cause
if
that shit lyrical, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
That shit lyrical.
but it's not.
It's lyrical.
I wouldn't say it's pure lyrical content, because if you're being told to put out a certain type of music, with a certain type of energy, then that's not necessarily pure, right? That's not necessarily your artistic um, um, expression to the world. You're being told what to put out. You're being told which one of your songs should be the next ones to go out. Like, so that's why I say it's not pure lyrical. Like, because if it was strictly just the artist, and man, I can't. Every time I see the video with the young brother going around the room, going crazy, talking about I kill that nigga, that. Ah, man, I can't think of his name. Um,
Which one?
yeah, I know, but man, like he jumping up on the table and shit, and just going crazy, and he's putting on a whole show as if he's at a concert, right? And he's on stage, and that's what he's supposed to do in this situation because he's selling himself, right? and I'm looking and I'm looking at his audience, and none of them look enthused, impressed, like they're enjoying themselves, like they like the content. But all of them decide that this is the content and this is the artist that they want to get behind and push forward and promote to the masses. Like this is the
when you watching that on TV, God, that's staged.
I think that's how it should go though, right? Like
yeah, that's staged. So like they probably aren't enthused. Because they paid to be. They might be seat fillers.
Nah, I seen Buddy said that shit happened though. He said I just can't think of his name right now. Like he did the Shmoney dance. What's his name? Bobby Shmurda.
Oh, Bobby Shmurda.
Yeah.
Oh, you was talking about when he was in the boardroom.
The boardroom, yeah.
Performing when he was getting his deal.
When he was getting his deal, right? Like he was trying to, like, those are the people that's deciding and dictating what you put out. Right?
No, that's not right. Those were executives and interns and stuff, and he was going performing for them. He was just doing a performance in a boardroom, like, this your song, do your song. Okay, because his song, he had already dropped that song before. That I know what song you talking about. You talking about the hot nigga song.
Okay. I don't know what song it was.
It's the hot nigga song. So like he had already dropped it. He had already done that. He had already done that. So what he was doing was just showing them like how he would perform at a concert or how he would perform this song. And that just sealed his deal. That song was completely new to, I'm sure, new to all of those people. And that's why they had that glaze in it, because they probably never heard the song before, versus some people who his partners and shit who he was around, the whatever, that GS9, that crew, all them guys who he had been performing in Brooklyn in the spots and everything, the community, they knew the song, So if we would have been watching the people in the community being entertained by the song, they would have been singing it and jamming, no different from a Mary J. Blige concert, no different from an Aretha Franklin concert.
I don't know if what you're saying changes my point, right? Like, or maybe it might add to the pure lyrical content, right? Because they really be out there killing niggas for real, right?
I mean, he went to jail for that shit.
Which is worse.
Yeah, they went to jail for that
which
shit.
Is worse. Yeah. Which is worse, right? Like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't like that shit.
Right? I don't like that shit either. I don't like promoting gang violence and none of that.
I don't like
killing other young brothers. You know what I'm saying?
I don't like it.
Yeah, I agree. We agree on that. But just from that perspective of that particular situation, it's getting misinterpreted because a lot of people never been in a boardroom trying to sign a record deal. A lot of people never been potentially about to get signed by executives. And to your point is exactly right. They will tell you to make songs like this or make songs like that. But in that particular case, he already had that song, because he haven't had no songs other than that. He came with that. Yeah, that's no diss. You know what I'm saying? Bobby Shmurda.
I don't know. Like,
he haven't had no bigger song than that. Hot Nigga was his biggest song. He haven't had no other songs bigger than that.
I ain't gonna lie. I only know the young brother from his interviews when he came home. And I liked the fact that he was from Brooklyn and he was getting a new chance, and he seemed like his interviews seemed real authentic in his expression. So I was drawn to that. I never actually pushed the play button though. But then I seen that video and I was like, yeah, I'm glad I didn't. That's not what I'm into.
Yeah, I mean, put it in place where we take you and put you in front of a whole bunch of niggas, all right, just like that, just a boardroom like that, and everybody is stuck on McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's,
I gotta kill everybody in that bitch.
Okay, and you got, the book in there, and you saying, this is why we should be trying to boom, 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 and do this, right? Okay, and they just looking at you crazy. They just looking at you crazy. They ain't even, they just looking like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like, I can't supersize that shit. You know what I'm saying?
But
like,
at the end of that, looking at me crazy ends up with me getting a deal and a whole lot of money.
It's worth it, right? If it changes the situation for you and your family, right? Then it's worth it.
And this how war happens and benefits and works, right? Because as long as and what I was thinking when you were saying it, right? If more people were to get out of their feelings or not stay in their feelings.
Yeah, stay in your feelings.
Stay in your feelings, but also use the other part of your brain where you can see reason and logic and acknowledge that a thing is happening, whether you like it or not. Now, I wasn't Constantine, Joseph. It was Bobby Shmurda. I appreciate you though. A thing is happening, and because a thing is happening, and there's a way for everybody to benefit, not just the quote unquote powers that be. Right? If the people in mass invested, then we would really be the powers that be, right? And things would be not necessarily better, but different. Right? Like we don't know what better will be exactly. Like it's too many of us that are different in the first place to know what better could possibly look like until we decided on some standards. Right. So that's why I said it'll just be different.
He said I had some good nights working shows in Charlotte. Shout out to Charlotte.
Word.
But when Bone Crusher would play outside of the club, somebody was getting shot every time. It was one time, but every time somebody got shot. I mean, that song was crunk as hell, though.
What he said? He said it was me one time, but every time. What?
I skipped that. I ain't even Josephus, this the wrong platform. We don't self-snitch over here, you know. You gotta go over there with Bruce Rivers, the criminal lawyer, to do all that.
I'm so damn slow.
You know. But yeah, man, we don't do no self-snitching over here, man. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that's crazy.
But we don't know. But it was one time. It was me one time. We don't know whether he was getting shot or he was doing the shooting. But guess what? But that Bone Crusher shit was good. That was the jam, man. So I'm outside. You think I'm a fool? Ain't never scared. Ain't never scared. You know what I'm saying? What? That was the shit right there, boy. But yeah, man,
right, but to the point though, right? Cause like how many people talk about when they was going out there doing a dirt, they put on they war music, right? Like they had certain music that they put on to go slide.
Hell yeah. And that was and that's no different.
I'm not saying good or bad, right? I'm just saying
no, like, you're right and exact. You're right and exact with that, guy. Because hip hop has been shaping our narrative in the Black community for a long ass time. It's just like when I had a little situation going on, person put on some music, like, I mean, but I'm hearing impaired slightly, so the shit don't really bother me, right? Like I'm laughing like it's clown shit, but because I'm the clown though, right? But but to me, it's just like, okay, I understand it because I come from that, you know. But the thing is like, if you ain't gonna do nothing, it's just more wolfing, you know. So it's just like, why do that? Why do that? You know what I mean? Like, why even go there? Why do we need that? We don't need that. You know what I'm saying? What we need is coexistence. We need collectivity. We need peace because we have to exist, in the same space, relatively. So to me, it's just like, but I understand it though. I understand the emotion. I understand the words of the song, but like he said somebody was getting shot, right? You know, I done been outside the club after the club when they was shooting. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
You know, so like, so like I done been inside the club when they start shooting,
Yo,
so
when that gas come out the damn ceiling, man, that
come
shit is
on,
crazy.
family. So I'm like, man, it ain't if you about some action, you know what I'm saying, then it ain't gonna be all of that. It ain't gonna be all of that, all that woofing and shit, all that barking, you know, because dogs bite, you know. So I understand that shit. I come from that, you know. I done left that. That ain't where we at. And that's why I don't glorify it. That's why we take the time and we talk about these things to say, you know what, we can be better. And what it is doing something different is a start to better. Doing something different is always a start to better.
That's what I think.
It's saying, I'm thankful that I'm not in that environment. You know, where I live at, ain't nobody trapping at the store. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody it ain't no bandos around here. You know, it ain't nobody up the road. You know, you can't go up to the Texaco and get a sack. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that ain't where the fuck we at. So the only way that you can bring war to that type of situation is if you on that. The only way you can bring negativity to that type of situation is you not realizing where the fuck you at. If you come from that, you left that. Where the fuck is that? So you gotta leave that energy and you gotta leave that mindset there too. It's no different from me coming from the hood, from the trap house, going to boot camp.
That's true.
Literally, I came from selling crack to boot camp. Literally. Rest in peace to my cousin Reggie, man. You know what I'm saying?
Rest in power.
Literally, I came from goddamn selling crack to boot camp. And when I got to boot camp, guess what? It was a whole shock. And I knew that if I did not find a way to change my mindset, to acclimate, then that's what I was going back to. Not because I had to go back to that shit, but because I was comfortable in that environment. Because I thought that was what we supposed to be doing. I thought because I didn't have structure around me that I was listening to. I ain't saying that they won't trying to say, hey, you
Just want
have
to
these
listen.
opportunities and you have this stuff
Yeah.
that you can do, but I won't listen. I ain't want to listen. I wanted to do what the fuck I wanted to do because couldn't nobody tell me shit. I was grown and I know every goddamn thing.
See, that's where I was different at, right? Because where I wanted to do what I wanted to do, I was never comfortable in the hood, right? I wasn't comfortable with the hood. Like as far as doing hood activity shit, like I wasn't comfortable with that shit. Like it always seemed, not didn't seem like it always ended up, it always ended up on some negative vibrations, right? And even when it was supposed to be fun, so I was never like I remember like I can remember vividly sitting on the stoop telling him, man, I can't wait to leave, man. It ain't nothing waiting for me um after this. Like everybody is. I saw myself doing the exact same thing as everybody else. I couldn't see past the block actually. Right. I couldn't see no college. I couldn't see no vocational. I couldn't see how I was going to take care of myself other than being on a corner. And like I said, that was not comfortable to me. Right. Because I didn't trust none of them cats because I wasn't built like that. I wasn't built. I just didn't trust like you know when somebody's like yo, I used to go G'ing all the time, right? I used to be a booster. I wasn't a crack dealer, nothing like that. I used to boost clothes and like resell them and stuff like that. It used to be a thing, right? They said these cats, low lives. Their whole thing was polo everything. I
Polo
remember
everything. Yeah.
polo
I was
everything,
a
right?
low life.
Man, I couldn't handle it,
Polo
right?
everything.
Right, like I remember cats asking me to come out, come boost them with them one time. I just got this vibe, and I was like, "Nah, I'm good." So they snatched up my man Reggie, and he wound up going with them, right? And everybody come back later on that evening, everybody but Reggie, right? They wound up pushing Reggie down, and Reggie the one got bagged, so everybody else can get away. I'm like, see, if you
They
ain't
told on him. You said they told on him.
now they pushed him down so he can get caught, right? Like that's how they do it, right? Like they,
So who he went with,
yeah, like
his so-called his friends,
yeah, right? Because
who he went stealing shit with,
he wanted
they
to beat down.
they pushed him so he get caught and they could get away.
Correct, and those are the vibes that I
That's
felt.
part of the game.
I felt like they wanted to push me down. And I was like, nah, I'm good. Like I know I got eyes. I seen how y'all get down. I see. If you ain't one of them, then you can get pushed down and sacrificed, right? And I was never comfortable, right? I wasn't one of them. Like I was outside, but I was never on the block like that, right?
Yeah,
So
I mean that's great, God. You know what I'm saying? Like you still would have been my homeboy.
it would
Like
still been
like
would have still been
like
cool.
yeah, like I had a couple of homeboys like that too, you know,
Super cool.
but I was with the action, you know. Like that's the difference. Like I was just with the action. Like, you know, shout out to all my guys that, you know, that was like that would even tell me like, man, you don't need to be doing this, but I wasn't listening to nobody. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not gonna listen to my mama and my daddy, you know,
It's a wrap.
I ain't even had my granddaddy. You know what I'm saying? My grandmama, but my uncle wasn't listening to my grandmama and granddaddy. My older cousin wasn't listening to their mamas, my uncle, my grandma and granddaddy. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't had no dad in the crib. You know, I had my stepdad for a while, you know, but he want my daddy. So I'm like, shit, after a while, after mom can't beat you no more, after mom can't spank you or the threats don't work, you doing whatever the fuck you want to do. That's how it works. You know, in a single
That's true.
parent household with your mama only. Now I don't know how it worked if you grow up with your daddy. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew some guys that grew up with their daddy with single parents and they had a lot more discipline. It was a lot more shit they wasn't doing. You know what I'm saying? I know that for a fact. But all my guys that it was just them and their mom at the crib, we was outside. Like with the youngest call, the jits call nowadays, being outside, we was outside all the goddamn time. That's why now, like I don't have no problem with not that. When I'm outside, this is what I realize. It's a war outside. Okay. So when I'm outside, I have a purpose. I'm going from A to B, or I have something that I'm actively engaged in. That's the difference. Not saying that where I'm at, I can't go sit on my porch and relax in my chair, you know, and watch the sunset. I could do that too if I feel like doing that, you know. But that's because we have been fortunate enough to do things, make better decisions, and put ourselves in a situation where we got a rocking chair that we could go sit on,
Mm-hmm.
you
Hell
know,
yeah. Hell yeah.
because we value having that. We value that being a place when you going outside, you know. So it takes, you know, not that, and that's why I say, like, sometimes all the time. You know, you gotta be the example, whether it hurts or not. You know, I ain't gonna let nothing kill me. You know, I got enough vices. I got black and mild vice. You know, so I got enough vices. That's it. And I manage that. You know, if I go off of black and mild, I'll be happy. Hey, that's something I was enjoying. You know, like that's it. You know, but it's a war going on outside. So you gotta be aware of these things. You can't just be willy-nilly, or you can, you know, you can, because a lot of folks just get old, you know, they don't learn shit. They just get old. And they be the same way they was when they was 15, 16 at
Yo, and not to knock it,
55, 65, you know.
and not to knock it, right? Some people are just background characters.
Some people just background characters. What's a
right.
background character, guy? What's that?
The people you talk about just get old, that just live their life and don't mind nobody else's business and just do them, right? Like, and they not.
Nah, see
Nah,
now
like.
we giving these people credit for minding their business. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's the ones you know. But all the ones that I know that's that age, they'll still fight somebody. They still talking about they gonna fight somebody. They still talking about they'll whoop somebody ass. They still talking about they gonna fuck somebody up, or they ready to do this or do that. They still
Funny.
ratchet as a motherfucker. You
That's
know what I'm saying?
that's terrible.
Not thinking about consequences. Not most of them people that I know, they do not have a quality of life that I would want to exemplify myself after.
Yeah, now
Okay.
we gotta think about consequences always.
Real shit. So, you know, I don't know if you know some people who 55, 60 and still think they 18, 17 years old. You know what I'm saying? But
No, cause
nah.
and it's
And
and it's
they models to say, hey son, you see them?
nah, son. Like,
Yeah.
so I only deal with people that's above board in the first place. And and anybody that appears dangerous or unstable, I remove myself from, right. And there's no slight on them. I'm just saying I can't deal with that, right? Like my anxiety
Yeah, that's
can't.
it.
My,
Man.
my anxiety can't handle
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm not above it or below it, but it ain't on my level.
I'm just someplace
Yeah.
else.
Yeah. I'm someplace else. I ain't above it or below it.
All
You
right, like
know?
I'm not knocking it, right? You do you, live your life the way that, like, I'm pro everybody living the life that they want to live, as long as it don't bleed over onto somebody else. Like the sister that just passed, Ananda Lewis, right? She just passed from breast cancer. Uh, Rest in power, right?
Rest in power to Ananda Lewis, and fuck cancer. Fuck breast cancer.
Man, motherfuck cancer, right? Like, and what she said later on, like towards the end, is how much she regretted not getting, what do you call it, mammograms, like getting tested
In
for
the
it,
memo.
because
Yeah.
it's a test, I think, right?
Yes.
Um, and how and what her reasonings were, right? And and it's like, she, here it is, she had a solid reason for herself that she made up, that was logical for her, right? She said she's seen her moms get the mammograms all the time and still get breast cancer. So in her mind, get the mammogram didn't help. So she gonna do things differently and live life differently. And things wound up, turning out to where she get breast cancer and it got bad, and she wound up losing her life. But towards the end, she was like, I really wish that I would have got those mammograms. And I'm like, man, like that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because we make these decisions and we really don't be meaning them, right? Like we make decisions, and we want pity later on. And I like that sister, because when she was going out, she owned it. She was like, nah, like I wish I did, but I didn't. You
She
know,
took accountability. Like,
she took full accountability
yeah,
and put the word out like, look, you can take accountability too. You can stand on your principle as well, but just know that you can die from your choice. And if you're not really not interested, but if you're not really willing to die for your choice and you want more time, then you might want to make a better choice.
absolutely.
Right. And I think that's an informed and responsible message, not preaching make sure you get a mammogram, make sure you get a mammogram, or don't get a mammogram, because like it's not one way or the other. Is giving informed just information, right? Like it's just I don't know, man. It's just like people don't be meaning the shit they be saying, and then when they get what they say, you write a check your ass can't cash or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we in the era. But see, but you know what, God, yeah, people on that note, yes, please, everybody out there, make sure y'all get to that doctor
fucking
and
right.
get checked.
Everything.
You know, at least twice a year if you can afford it. You know, I don't know with Medicaid, Medicare, any of them things. Um, um, see your doctor. You know, for men, get your blood work, get your check. For the women, make sure you get the, you know, women, the thyroid, your ovaries, your breast, your mammo. You know, get that stuff checked, y'all, brothers and sisters, men and women. You know, get that stuff checked, y'all, because so many of our people that we see, loved ones, friends, family, you know,
Preventable stuff, bro.
it's stuff that you could just actually just go and get checked and ask. Be vulnerable when you go in there, ask them, man. Just be
Yeah.
like, yeah, you know, the
Yeah.
back, the back of my, you know, something hurting. You know, I got something over here. Can you
That's
just
that's
check it?
that's that's the person you tell.
You know, check it out. You know,
Take
because it could be nothing, and it could be major. It could be life threatening. So
and
definitely,
they say like all prostate cancer is preventable if you catch it in time. Like you just gotta just catch it in time.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
so just because you get it or don't mean you gotta die from it, right?
No,
Like you can actually just get it taken care of from
mhm.
from a routine check, right? Like you gotta get checked out if you
Yeah,
want to live.
I know
If
two
if
survivors. I know two
if you
survivors.
want to live, that's what I'm saying, right? If you want
Yeah,
to
two
live,
survivors.
if living is what you're trying to do, then you get checked out. But if you just out here willy nilly with it and you really kind of don't care for real, like you know, just don't complain about it later. Like don't
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like
Don't be
just
sitting up there looking like, oh yeah, I'm about to die. Oh
talk
man.
want to go fund me and stuff like
Uh-huh.
that, right? Take accountability for your stuff, for your for your choice and your decision, and let that be that.
I don't know why I'm about to die. Oh no, Lord, please help me, please save me.
I'm not
You
ready
know,
yet. I need more time.
that's what we talk about. People make them decisions, and then what happens? You could be saying, "No, officer, please don't take me to jail," or you could be begging for your life, asking God, like, "God, please, I promise I won't do this again." You know, it'd be the same shit. So, you know, go get checked out, y'all, because for real, because there's some people that say that there's a war with, you know, pharmaceutical drugs and getting everybody on drugs and shit like that, you know. And
Man, get your blood work done, man.
so it's like, you know, we have the ability to stay up on these things. If you in that war for your health, you know, like I'm a big uh campaigner, champagne of the campaign for health, man. You know,
Fucking right.
because I know when I retired, you know what I'm saying, from the military, they told me a lot of stuff, you know. So we deal with those things today, but you know, a lot of stuff I had to war with, and we've been winning the war because I'm still right here doing this thing, you
That's right.
know. So we just gonna keep on fighting. And it starts with me giving a damn about it and going to the doctors and making sure we stay up on things. So I ain't somebody out myself or the guy Ali Dawood El BK Soul Farmer, not people just sitting up here running our mouth and shit. You know what I'm saying? Take it from us personally. All right, with the stamp on it. Go see your doctor. Make sure that you get
see your doctor.
You know, get yourself checked out. Don't be one of them people like, oh, I ain't going to the doctor. They gonna try and do something to me and all this. You know, we got Google and shit, so you can come home and research shit too. Don't be lazy. You know, you go to your doctor and see what the doctor's saying, then you come home and research the shit, and then you can start looking at other things you can do too. You know, because there's a lot of information out here nowadays. So yeah, God,
yeah,
it's definitely a war on that too. But man, fuck cancer too, because I done lost a lot of loved ones to cancer.
I've been fortunate to my loved ones to have a lot of victories, have some losses, but I have a lot of victories over cancer. I'm very appreciative being spared that.
Yeah, a lot of good family members too. Wish they were still here, man.
Yeah, fuck cancer, bro.
So we definitely, y'all, we talking about war tonight. We're gonna ask another question right now before we even get to the definition, because the conversation going pretty good. Can peace be achieved through war? Can peace be achieved through war?
Can peace be achieved through war?
Let us know in the chat what y'all think. Do y'all think can peace be achieved through war? Is that even peace? The fact that you have to go, the fact that you have to go to war, is that even peace?
Yeah, I guess you got to define peace first, right? And once we say what peace is, once the war is over, I guess the question is, do we have that? And I guess then we can say yes or no, right? But that's a good question.
I heard that saying. I can't think of where, so I don't want to just label it, but I've heard somebody use that recently. You know, peace through war.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, that is the most backward ass shit that I ever heard. But I don't know. You know, maybe.
But that goes back to my
maybe
bully
there's
thing.
some logic to it. I don't know.
That goes back to my bully thing, right? Like when somebody is trying to take your stuff, right? Because and I'm saying, so the only aspect of war I can accept is one person or one group of people trying to infringe on another group. I cannot fathom two people agreeing to go to war. You know what I'm saying? Like,
two people agreeing to go to war.
yeah.
We're gonna pull that back up, Josephus. You said two people agreeing to go to war.
Like in my mind, like I can see somebody, I can see a quote unquote dominant society infringing on a lesser society or on another society, and other society fighting back. I can see that, but what I can't fathom are both societies saying we just want to fight each other.
Okay, so if they have a purpose though behind it, then it's not just saying we want to fight each other. So
what kind of purpose could it be? Like,
so popular. Okay, let's go down the list. So the question the guy Ali Dawu El, the Big SO farm, is saying, y'all, is that two people, he can't see two people agreeing to go to war, two parties agreeing to go to war. All right. So the factors that we would have to have in that is, okay, they wouldn't just be doing it casually. They were trying to do it for some reason. So let's say population control. All right. Where I have a country that, you know, that we need to curve population. You have a country that you need to curve population because it's getting out of hand. It's getting crazy. So you say, okay, well, look, let's stage this little thing.
I
You know what
fully
I'm
got
saying?
it.
Okay. And then, you know, and then now we beefing and everybody else out. We done got the people behind it to be like, yeah, fuck Ali and all them. And then your people like, fuck Chef Earl Pearl and all them. You know what I'm saying? So now all everybody on board, all the flunkies and shit, all the what they call them, cannon fodder. Right? Everybody all on board, right? Because they following their leader. Okay. They don't think for themselves. You know what I'm saying? They ain't like, well, hold up, what the fuck did Chef Earl Pearl really do? You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Or they asking like, well, what really happened with the God Ali Dawuda? Like, no, take me through everything. What did you do? What did he do? Okay. So we can find out if we want to be on board with some foolishness, because you might just have me crashing out, you know. And I got shit to do. Like, I want to see my kids do this, and I want to see, like, I ain't trying to go die for you or be sitting up in jail for you because you won't admit you're wrong. You know what I'm saying? Or some shit that you did. Y'all need to work that shit out, you know? So if that's the case and you have everybody else, then it could be population control. It could be for let's say for resources, you know, like it could be natural resources or something like that. Where,
and that's what I'm saying with resources, though. That's like somebody taking something from somebody else, right? Like,
but not if I need you to stage a coup. All right, not if I need you, not if I'm not in power. All right, but you want, well, it is taking some shit, but you saying, okay, I'm gonna go to war with you, Pearl, but because we see this shit all the time, like especially in like Argentina and Venezuela with the different regimes and shit like that. Like they had 2 presidents in one of them countries at one point in time, and the US was backing one of them, but then we didn't fuck with the other one. Who is Maduro? Is he in Venezuela?
Yeah, I think that's Venezuela.
So like we wasn't fucking with him at all. But then we had like a whole nother president that it was like we was fucking with him. So in that case right there, we needed 2 people on my side. You know, we needed me to beef with somebody in there with Maduro. We needed enough people for me to galvanize the people to be the opposition to Maduro, you know, and then you come in and be like, all right, I'm gonna give y'all all the weapons, all the resources, all that shit. Y'all knock him off. And then now when we get in there, now we're gonna do these deals with you. Okay. So that would be a reason to, you know, to say, okay, agreeable war.
Now you're right. You're right. It sucks though.
You know, I mean, we living this shit though, God.
I was fully not supportive or understanding of the population control, because when I think about resources, and I'm like, all right, if there's only so many buffalo and we outnumbering, or our population over here is growing to where the current population of buffalo is gonna dwindle just from us, and they got a whole bunch of people over there that also like to eat buffalo, man. We're gonna have a whole nother problem way before. So let's control these numbers before it get bad. So I understand that, but once you start talking about governments backing other things and making deals and like all that, just sound. I mean, it sound right. It's just so evil.
I mean, I'm dealing with the reality of it is that people don't control militaries. The regular people don't control the military
at all.
So if we're going to speak about it accurately, then we have to acknowledge the government entities. You know, hey, me and myself retired, go USCG, you know, and shout out to all the troops out there serving, you know, but we have to realize that we take our orders from somebody, from the commander in chief, from the DOD
all the time,
you know, so whatever their mission objective is, then that's what we have to follow. It's not really like you got to say so. in what the fuck is going on. You either gonna show up to work or you not, you know, or you going AWOL, and then there's consequences with that shit, you know. So in other countries, it's the same thing, you know. So if we examining it, you know, then we gotta deal with the facts, you know, as much as we can,
Yeah, no, you're right.
But you got Josephus got what he got right here. Well, hold up, let's look at this. He said peace can only be achieved after there is no need for war. Peace can only be achieved after there is no need for war, after we find a way to govern ourselves internally. Yeah, bro. But that is tough one. That govern ourselves internally, you know, I don't even know. But the peace can only be achieved after there's no need for war. I definitely understand that. Like, you know, peace is achieved if there's no need for war. We can be at peace if we both decide we don't want a war. We don't need any conflict, you know. Like let's just be at peace. What do you need to be happy? And what do both sides need to be happy? What do you need to be happy for you to feel like you winning? And what do I need to be happy to feel like I'm winning? And let's meet in the middle. And then we can have peace, you know. But you need two parties that are willing to do that. If you got another party that just wants war, then you might have to kill a motherfucker. Then you might have to bomb them, you know?
Correct.
So you may have to do that if it's no other option.
Correct.
You know,
and that's what I was thinking about in reference to the nuclear stuff, right? To his point, like, you know, peace is achieved after there's no need for war. If we're at war to stop somebody from getting nuclear weapons or whatever, or nuclear capabilities, let's not say weapons, but capabilities. That's why I said I don't get it, because you got so many people that already got it, and if one person push a button, it's up, right? So if there's a thought that somebody, as soon as they get a capability, the first thing they're going to do, or one of the things they're going to do, is push the button, then you might as well just take them out now, and not
even play with them, right?
Not even play with it, right?
Not
because
play with it.
Instead of going to war to stop them from not having nuclear capability, just take them out, right? Like, and that way,
that's so fucked up, because it's other innocent, it's casualties.
We saying
casualties.
Nope. There are no casualties if we're saying that there is no way that these people will not push the button.
But is it everybody?
That's what I'm saying.
Just like those people.
Now that's the question, right? Whoever makes that determination, that's the question that they got to ask.
Because when you drop the bomb on the house, you kill everybody.
And for me, for Ali, if I'm saying in reference to Josephus' point, and even to mine, right, to make it so there's no need for war, I would be on some old killing everybody so that nobody be able to get mad later and come back.
Get mad later, right? That is the war strategy, though. Like, you might as well go ahead and get the this and that and that one. So,
you know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
you can sleep peacefully, right?
Because I want to get to peace,
right?
And because the people that already got nuclear weapons or nuclear capabilities are already not pushing the button.
Yeah, like, and that's you know, if we specifically talk about Iran, which we are, Iran and Israel, like I just haven't seen Iran. We haven't seen them, you know, promote we want to get nuclear weapons so we can blow up the world type.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, like I haven't seen, like, in all the news I've watched, like, and all the, you know, all the military intel and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just haven't seen it. That's
they
like what they want to do. Like,
they haven't said that, right?
You know, I do think that they want to, use it as a like, look, we got it now,
a
you
threatening
know.
device. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they want to be like, hi, well, we got the shit too, because they see how Russia has it, they see how we have it, you know, and they want a position, economic positioning on the global stage.
They want to be able to stay warm in the Cold War.
Yeah, you know, but I haven't seen them, you know, posturing like that, because now what is always translated is that they have been funding, you know, different Islamic militias, you know, like Hamas and ISIS and Al Qaeda and stuff like that. So they have been, you know, funding those groups, you know, but it's almost like to the point where, you know, because people never look at a map. People never look at a map, and I always was telling people, like, when we went into Iraq first, I didn't know we were going into Afghanistan, but when we went into Iraq, I was like, oh shit. If you look at the map, I seen it soon I saw it soon as I seen it, right? I said, damn, Iraq is right there on the border of Iran. And then so that was with Saddam. And then when we had 9/11 with bin Laden, and we went into Afghanistan, I said, we strategically positioning around Iran. I ain't no fool. I don't know when we going to war with them and how long it's going to take, but this is what we doing. And I knew that that's what we doing, looking at the map, you know? So I'm not surprised that shit is the way it is now. Today, what we dealing with, I already knew we was going to have a conflict with them. I just didn't know when, how it will play out, because they got a lot of nuclear reactors. So I ain't know if they ever would get nuclear power and shit like that, and or a nuclear weapon, you know. But I knew that my eyes had become more open to their nuclear capabilities during, I believe it was maybe the Clinton administration, and they were talking about all the nuclear power they had for this whole green thing that they were trying to do for the green, because they had so much nuclear power they could, you know, help facilitate the you know, the green revolution.
Yeah.
So, you know, I've been watching them since then. Plus, I invest in uranium because y'all can buy that too. We can buy that too, y'all. and newsflash, we're gonna go to this next comment, but newsflash, y'all, we have been trading uranium with purchasing uranium from Russia the whole time this conflict been going on. Okay. So the trade of uranium has continually been going on. So whether we froze some oligarchs' assets and all of that shit, guess what? We still been trading with them, at least uranium. So get you some. If you got a Cash App account, you can buy stocks on that shit. And you don't need $1 billion. You don't need to try to be Warren Buffett, but you do need to own some shit. I'm not one of the people sitting here saying, buy stocks, it's going to make you a millionaire, but it will help you put some of your money to work for you and allow you to make some money while you sleep. So when you get up, you don't have to chase so much of it. So he said Maduro is a good cigar rapper. You know, when you stand on it. But Joseph was saying, as far as we was talking about causes for war, deportation, resources, transfer, and power, votes. Absolutely. Absolutely. All them things right there.
Deportation is a cause for war? I don't know.
Deportation. I don't know. Elaborate on that a little bit, Josephus. Shout out to Josephus Comedy in the chat.
Resources, transfer,
deportation. The vote. Resources, transfer, and power, votes. We get that.
Yeah, I get those. I don't understand deportation though.
I look at deportation. I don't know. Like that wouldn't be. Oh, depopulation. Oh yeah, well we said that. Okay. depopulation. Yeah, we said that. We
Oh
got
yeah. Fucking right. Yeah, the food deserts. There's a whole bunch of ways to do that. Redlining,
yeah.
increase prisons.
And he said the poppy fields and lithium, and you'll find war.
Yeah.
Actually, the biggest lithium field is in South America. The biggest lithium on the planet is in South America. I think in South America. I can't call which country it's in. I want to say Peru. They got wherever them salt flats is. Is it them salt flats in Peru? They got the biggest lithium. They have the most lithium in ground on the planet Earth in Peru. In South America. It's in South America. It's not in Mexico though. It's not Mexico. It's in South America for sure. Wherever them salt flats is. That's where the biggest lithium. Because we buy that too, man. We got a little, if it's gonna go green, if it's gonna go green, then we need to own some and I say everybody, man, own whatchamacallit, what they call natural resources, man.
Hell yeah.
The shit that's in the ground. We use it in batteries. All the shit is in your remote controls and all that. People buy batteries and shit like that, and
whatever it is
in your vehicle.
Whatever it is that Trump told Zelensky that he was coming over there to get, invest in that. Like whatever natural earth elements they had, whatever that they had.
They got a lot of uranium over there.
There you go.
Yeah, they got a lot of uranium over there in Ukraine. They got uranium over there.
Because that's what he said. We coming to get that. So
yeah. Lithium is good for schizophrenia. I don't know. Maybe I need to suck on a battery. Put the battery on your tongue. You used to do that when you was a kid.
Yeah, get a little buzz.
You're like, don't do that shit.
Like, do that shit.
Do that shit. Yeah. The things we used to do as kids, man.
That's how we learned.
It's fucking crazy.
Another thing I was thinking about while you was talking earlier about part of the desensitization, and I wanted to say, like, it's not just America, right? It is worldwide, because you got those child soldiers, that these kids, like, they literally going from village to village or town to town, snatching up people or snatching up children, killing the men, and raising the young boys to be soldiers, and they get desensitized right away, right?
Yeah.
And they become soldiers, and they become and when they turn into adults, they get labeled as monsters. It's tough, man.
We have our own version of that here.
Yeah.
And
that's what I'm saying. It's tough.
We have our own version of that here. Instead of they doing it for the resources and things like that, to control natural resources.
Yeah.
But here they doing it off of hip hop music and
to control the block
and video games.
Exactly.
So what's the difference? The only difference is what? Because the people who we see and being mostly affected by it look like us. So yeah, that's war. War, a noun. A state of usually open and declared armed hostile conflict between states or nations. 2, a period of such armed conflict. 3, state of war. B, art of science or warfare. C, obsolete. Weapons or equipment for war. Archaic. Soldiers armed and equipment for war. 2.
That's archaic.
That's archaic. That's what's going on right now. All right. 2, a state of hostility, conflict, or antagonism. That is war. When you antagonizing, you are at war.
That's interesting.
You are not at peace if you antagonizing. All right. A struggle or competition between opposing forces or for a particular end. All right. Then we have variance, at odds. Then we have at odds right there. So verb, we have war, warred and warring, to be in active or vigorous conflict. Two, to engage in warfare. Then we have as an adverb, worse. We have worse.
Yeah, like worse to me.
Worse. Yep. And then we have as a verb, ward, warring, and in Scotland, worse, to overcome. Then we hit the thesaurus up to see the synonyms. War is given to us as in hostilities, conflict, battle, and as in to fight. As in hostilities, a state of armed violent struggle between states, nations, or groups. Then we have similar words, synonyms. We have hostilities, a skirmish, warfare, world war, holy war, engagement, action, combat, cold war, battle, hot war, conflict, conflagration, fighting, civil war, police action, limited war. That's in hostilities. Then we have conflict, a lack of agreement or harmony. Conflict, war, discordancy, dispute, dissonance, disunity, dissension, argument, divide, collision, discord, spat, falling out. A run-in, cold war, incongruity, jar, rancor, mix-up, inharmonious, incongruous, strife, friction, dissension, division, infighting, altercation, hostility, fight, contention, disagreement, quarrel, fissure, squabble up. Ain't that how the song goes?
Hell yeah.
Squabble up, right? They talking about war, be in conflict, you know? That's why we saying fighting ain't the thing to do. Tiff, a row, inconsistency, incompatibility, to scrap, ill will, inconsonance, a myth, inconstance, hassle, antipathy, incongruence, wrangle, antagonism, animosity, enmity, bicker, brawl, competition, inharmony, debate, dissonance, disunion, disharmony, variance, clash, dissent, schism, discord. Then we have as in battle, an earnest effort to superiority or victory over another. Battle, struggle, duel, contest, combat, ball game, sweepstake, debate, friction, disputation, argument, disagreement, dissension, controversy, discord, quarrel, grapple, sweepstake, showdown, clash, strife, confrontation, conflict, rivalry, warfare, competition, contention, match, dogfight, tug of war, face off, dispute, collision, horse race, nail biter, row. And then we have as a verb, war as in to fight. Fight, resist, present, conserve, picket, wall, guard, shield, screen, forefend, cover, palisade, secure, buffer, ward, defend, avert, preserve, oppose, battle, contend, withstand, save, protect, fence, safeguard, fend, keep, and bulwark. I can't even say that.
Sound like my rooster talking shit.
Bulwark.
He made that noise and a scrap usually follows, either jumping a chick.
Yeah, that's something different right there. So war, we have war as in a state of usually open and declared armed hostile conflict between states and nations, a period of such armed conflict, state of war, the art of science warfare, weapons or equipment, soldiers armed and equipped for war, a state of hostility, conflict, or antagonism, a struggle or competition between opposing forces for a particular end. And that's what we got right there on war.
I think too is where it gets personal at, and the way you talk about all those, because that antagonism. I'm looking at that word, and that's what I think a bad neighbor does. They antagonize,
Well,
right?
you can put that in so many different situations because let's say um let's say you have let's say you have right now looking at Israel and the Iran thing.
Hmm.
Well, Israel says that they took out those particular groups of of
Talking about Palestine and Israel,
no, I'm talking about Israel and Iran.
Iran. Oh, okay.
All right. Israel and Iran did not strike them first. All right. So they wouldn't antagonize. What they did was they didn't agree to they had 60 days to agree to whatever was the nuclear arms thing.
Hmm.
So what Israel said was, okay, y'all ain't gonna make y'all mind up. All right, then we gonna make your mind up for you. So we're gonna start bombing shit.
Silence is acceptance.
Right? So that right there was, and silence is not acceptance. That's one of them things that's some ignorant shit. We need to get on that. We
That
need
shit crazy.
silence is not acceptance. Silence means I might fuck you up if I say something else, because I don't have nothing good to say,
That's crazy.
So that's what that means. What they did was they thought Israel was bullshit. So they tried them. And see, that's what happens when people try you. People will try you not realizing that you've already you already have taken as much as you're going to take from them. That's not making Israel right in this situation. That's not saying Iran was wrong for taking their sweet ass time either. All right. But sometimes you have to, now we was just talking what that thing was, a squabble, right? So sometimes you got to pop out and show niggas, So because they don't believe you, they don't believe that you'll do something because they choose to antagonize, So if they want fuckery, then sometimes you might have to give a person fuckery. Now, in this particular case right here with Iran and Israel, it does not appear that they did any other thing than just said, we haven't made our mind up yet on what we're going to do. And then Israel said, we tired of waiting. Fuck the dumb shit. We're going to go ahead and we're going to, help you make your mind up.
Bombs on Baghdad.
Bombs over Baghdad, So, I mean, and literally they sent bombs over Baghdad because Israel is to the west of Iraq. So, like literally it is geographically, geometrically. So, so when you look at the conflict, the state of hostility, yes, you can get it in a situation like you was talking about with a neighbor or whatever, but you can get this in so many different situations where, where people will try to poke at you because
that's a hell of a poke.
Because people want different things, I think when people antagonize, they want to fight, because when you don't want to fight, you don't antagonize, you don't appear hostile, and you don't create conflict. What you try to do is you try to exude peace, and you try to exude some type of compassion and some type of consideration in hopes that the other parties will acknowledge the fact that, okay, this person ain't on that. So why don't we just leave the motherfucker alone?
Correct.
Like, why don't we just focus on what the fuck we got to do and going on about our business, live our life, let the motherfucker live their life, you know? But
Because
some people like,
You fuck around and find out. You fuck around and find out. And I'm saying you don't get to cry when you find out.
Yeah, but we live in a victim. We live in a
I hate that shit.
Yeah, we live in a world where motherfuckers like to, you know, where motherfuckers like to throw rocks and hide their hand, you know,
and then cry when you point at them, talking about you did it. Like, no, it wasn't. Prove it. Prove it was me. Like, what you mean?
They cry when you respond. You know what I'm saying? Like, they want to make your reaction the problem.
Correct.
And then not take accountability for their actions. So, you know, you can't be hostile towards somebody, you know, and then try to be on some slick shit. Like, they may not be with that. You know, they may not be with that. They may not be cool with being spit on, and then you not even apologizing, but act like you're gonna say, oh, well, I spit on you, but I'm not gonna apologize for spitting on you. But I'm gonna say, you know, you should change your shirt. You know, you should get a new shirt. You know, it's like, the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like you gonna spit on me, you ain't even gonna apologize, but then you gonna tell me I need to change my shirt though. You know, like, fuck out of here.
That's
You know,
tagging out. Yeah, like,
like
see, and I'm saying, like, stuff like what you say, people that do that, they want to fight.
It seemed like they want to fight.
And to me, I agree, right? And I don't understand why everybody else don't agree. Like, why do we accept the victim narrative and mentality for everything? Like, that is like, well, he didn't hit you though. Like, all he did was spit on you and told you to change your shirt. You didn't have to react like that. What you mean? All he did was spit on me and told me to change my shirt.
Yeah, that's how they make it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how they try to make it.
Like, he spit on me, full stop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what else we talk about?
You know, so me on my Casanova 2 times, punching this motherfucker in his mouth and knocking their teeth out, you know what I'm saying, was wrong because I just got spit on.
Nah, son.
You know? So me getting on my Casanova shit was wrong because I got spit on. Like, and now everybody's like, well, you didn't have to punch their teeth out, right? Well, you didn't have to punch my teeth out. I only spit on you.
I only spit on you.
You know, and it's like, come on, family. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you gonna hold yourself accountable.
No, son, you say that shit. I just watched this meme. Oh, I don't know if it was a meme or like some. I think everything is staged on social media, and it was these two females that just got into a fight, and the one girl told the other girl, you know, you should probably not go around hitting people, right? Because I wouldn't hit you first. And Shorty was like, nah, but I didn't hit you first. You hit me first. And she was like, nah, you threw something at me. She's like, yeah, but just because I threw it at you don't mean that I hit you. You ain't got to treat me like we're not in the ghetto, in the street. And she was like, yeah, the thing that you threw at me hit me. And she was like, yeah, just because I threw it at you and hit you don't mean that you had to hit me. You had to punch me in my mouth. And I'm like, what? Are you not hearing yourself, lady? Clearly
not. Clearly not. Look, Josefa said, turn the other cheek. Why? So you can get smacked in that one? You know what I'm saying? Because clearly you have a bully on your hands.
I'm like, what?
That's what I was talking about when just like, you know, like like we moving on, but just like if you apologize for something, you don't keep doing the same shit and then expect for somebody to think that your apology is sincere.
How could it
you
be?
know? Like, well, I apologize, but you kept doing the same shit. So what the fuck, you know? Like, you know, like, and,
are you sorry, motherfucker?
Like, don't be sorry. You know what I'm saying? Be better.
Be better. Stop
and be better. You know what I'm saying? Like the sorry is the first time. The sorry is and this with Josie, pity is preferred over empathy. Motherfuckers want you to pity them.
That's sad.
You know, and that is sad.
That does speak to my why we do that victim stuff, because pity is preferred over empathy. That's super,
Yeah.
super sad, right? Because nobody want to do something for you, anything for you, unless you're down and out and you really need their help specifically. It's almost like you gotta beg them to help. Like, man, you either want to work or you don't want to work. I ain't about to beg nobody to do nothing, man. Because the worst thing in the world to me is to be surrounded by negative energy when I'm trying to do something positive.
When all you trying to do is something positive, you know, it's like, and that's why I say, like, sometimes you just have to lead by example, you know, and then if that example ain't good enough, then we'll give you what you want. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna give you no foolishness, because we ain't gonna jeopardize all the shit that we don't work for, because you're not worth it. You know what I'm saying?
Clearly.
But you know what I'm saying? But what we will do though is we will hit your pockets. You know what I'm saying? Since you act like you want to spend the money, then guess what? We'll help you spend it though. You know, I think when we talk about that pity and that empathy, it's one thing missing, that compassion. And that's what I'm saying. Like, having that compassion removes pity and removes empathy.
That's why I say, man, consideration is key, right? Because when you have consideration, you have compassion, you have room to pity the pitiable. You know what I'm saying? You can empathize with those who need empathy, right? But you can, but you are always aware of where you need to be to remain safe,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you're also keeping
yeah.
yourself in mind, and
Always,
right. So you
always.
have consideration for the whole entire situation, not just the other person's plight, but also how their plight is going to affect you, just verbally, or even if you decide to take action.
But I share everything, you know, possibly that could be shared without sacrificing my own peace in my own space. You know, you tell a person, hey, be aware of this, you know, because this could be harmful, unappreciative. You know,
Trying to
it's
tell me what
like
to do.
it's like,
You ain't my
damn.
daddy.
So, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? But you're not even on that. You're not even trying to tell nobody what to do. You're like, I don't want to tell nobody what to do that is not my child. You know,
Facts.
nobody. I don't even tell my wife what to do. You know, I ask, we have a conversation. Babe, can we do this? Babe, is this cool? Babe, babe, do you want to do this? You know? So like, I don't even tell my wife what to do. All right. That's how adults work, you know? So even when you share things, like, your actions are being exemplified that they aren't hostile, that they aren't of conflict, that they aren't antagonizing, you know? So the only thing to interpret if a person is being that way is that they want war,
They want war. Give it to them.
you know? And they just got to be, and people should be careful with who they do that with, man, because everybody, you know, everybody wars different.
Yeah.
You know, everybody wars differently, you
Yeah.
know?
Some people will get spit in their face and will just spit back in your face. Some people will get spit in the face and kill you. I think both answers are right.
You know, I'm not gonna champagne neither one of them campaigns. I'm campaigning for peace.
Men
Don't
in the
spit
right.
in nobody's face. You know what I'm saying? Don't spit in no, what I always say, that like,
Don't do
going
the
in the
first punch, right?
military, going in the military, right? I learned that if you don't give a person a reason, all right, then they don't have nothing to say or do. If you're doing the right thing, if everybody's respecting each other, then guess what happens? You don't even get a reason to do that.
Correct.
You know, I can't even, you can't give me, if I don't give you a reason to call the police on me, you ain't got no reason to call the police on me.
Correct.
if I don't give you a reason to hit me, then you ain't got no reason to hit me. You know, other than a car accident and somebody, you know, in a situation they don't need to be behind the wheel, you know, that's different. But like, you know, if I ain't being disrespectful to you, ain't no need to be disrespectful to me. Right? It's giving a person a reason. Like if you give somebody the reason, then how the fuck is you a victim? You ain't no fucking victim.
You're a participant.
You a participant.
And that's that accountability that we need to get to that we don't have, right? Which is why we prefer pity, and we have very little empathy and hardly any compassion, and we practice no consideration, right? Because we do not practice accountability. We run from accountability. We're always looking to point the finger and blame somebody else for making us do the things that we wind up doing that turned out negative. If you didn't do that to me, Pearl, I wouldn't have did this. Right? And the reality was,
and that's fair. That's fair, son. That's fair because with every action
is a reaction.
It's a reaction. So that's fair. The thing is did I consider what I was doing to you first before I did it? Did I consider how you might act, how you might feel, the consequence of it?
And that's the part. Like, did I consider the
You know?
consequences? Because yeah, Pearl might have did that to me first. Now my response to that action, or my reaction, right, is on me.
And that's why I said I have to always, part of being perfect is taking accountability for even when you fuck up. I can always break my arm, pat myself on the back for all the good shit I do. We never have a problem with that. Ooh, I did this. Ooh, I won. Ooh, I bought a stock and it went up and I picked right. I was speculating, guessing like I'm on, and it went up and it made some money. Ooh, I made this food and it tasted good. It was outstanding. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever the fuck it is, I put something together. I did. So I grew some tomatoes and they came out perfect. You know, whatever the fuck it is. Still have to realize whatever I'm doing, it's going to be a reaction to it. So if I fuck up, if I do something, if I grow some tomatoes and the seed don't come up, it don't sprout. You know, if I go and I paint something and I fucked up and it didn't come, if I do something to somebody, then and you know what I'm saying, and the police come and then I get a warning because I fucked up. Then I have to take accountability and responsibility for that. It's me.
It had to have change actions.
Who have to change how I do things 100%. And learn. If I didn't think it was a mistake, then I would keep fucking doing it. You Correct. See what I'm saying? But me, I don't go to jail. You know what I'm saying? I don't do jail at all. For nothing. You know what I'm saying? So if something is about to make me go to jail, like, trust me, I'm gonna stay within my lines so I can keep my ass out of jail. Cause I ain't make it this far, you know what I'm saying, to go to jail over some stupid shit. Cause I done real shit that I could have been in jail for. You know that.
And all that shit is stuff that you ain't had to do.
And all of it was shit I ain't have to do. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, nah, like I'm thankful. I'm really thankful. You know, I believe that there is a God that got some favor for me, some gods or something, because I know my past. I know the shit I've done. I know the mistakes I've made. And that's why I look at them as mistakes and learning lessons. Not, I need to be Billy Badass. I need to be this and do all that. Because I got enough people I could call that'll pull up for stupid shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't utilize them. They be calling me like, man, you acting brand new. You acting this.
I will never call them.
I am brand fucking new. I'm real brand new out this motherfucker. For real. And if you could get with it or fucking Keep it pushing, man. You know what I'm saying? It's all love on my side, you know, but we ain't fucking with all that. If that's what you want, so be it. But we got to do something different, man.
Hell yeah.
You know, we got too many people on bullshit already. You know, that ain't helping building. That's not helping. You know, Josephus said it's all fair in love and war. War removes the heart literally, love removes the heart figuratively. You know, I think that's some bullshit because it ain't all fair in love and war. You know, I think that's a cliche that we need to rewrite and redo.
Unpack and see what we really saying, right?
You know, that maybe that's gonna be the next show. We're gonna do that the next Sunday. All right. Yeah. Is it all fair in love and war? You know, because it ain't. It ain't. You know, love needs to be love, and it needs to be the positive examples of it. You don't have to hurt people to be in love. You don't need trauma for love.
Shouldn't be going to war for love.
You know, if you need to be in war to be in love, if we need to be, if I gotta have a conversation with my wife, if we gotta argue all the motherfucking time, like fuck all that, we're not gonna be together.
It ain't. No, thank
if
you.
Everything is like pulling teeth and shit, you know, like we ain't gonna be together. You know, I don't do that. For real, I don't do that. What we have to do is we have to communicate. That's love. Love is communicating. Love is saying, you know what? Okay, what's your perspective? All right, what's and listening. And then it being reciprocated and where you at on it, and then we finding a medium ground, like you said, that path, that direction to where we can both go down this road.
Yeah, it's the standard.
And that become the standard. Yeah. You know, but war is well, I'm over here and I'm like, well, fuck all that. Nah, that's war. That ain't no love. So that shit ain't fair. You know what I'm saying?
Especially the way I think about war, because the way I think about war, there is no fair. Like I'm trying to smoke everything over there. Right.
If I'm at war, that's how I look at it too. If I'm at war, it's life or death.
It's all or nothing, baby.
Yeah. So
right?
yeah.
I would rather compromise and be at peace and come to the table and figure out how to negotiate versus you say you want smoke, because I'm saying I want to sleep easy at night, and I don't want to have to worry about you pushing a button. So
exactly, and that's how you know it's not a real war. That's why when you asked about what you asked about, that's why I said like we're not giving that shit no more light and no more attention. You know what I'm saying? For real, because it's not war for real. Everybody able to go to sleep, lay down, get up, and go on about their life. So it ain't war for real.
And complain about some shit.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it ain't war. Like, if it was war,
everybody TikToking, everybody doing a new fan dance, pang. You know, everybody.
Yeah, if it was war, trust me. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers will know.
It'd be lights out, son. Like,
yeah, we ain't speaking on that because we always on peaceful, positive stuff. Like I said,
you're right.
Trying to be tough. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gotta do that. You know, we ain't gotta do that. Like none. The stuff that I share on here about my past is real. It's people who could verify that shit. Like I ain't capping. You know what I'm saying? I ain't faking. I ain't frauding. None of that. And I'm thankful that I'm able to be on here and share these Sundays every Sunday with the guy Ali Dawul El at BK Soul Farm. And we had these conversations. We got the chat going up. Shout out to Josephus in the chat. You know, I'm enjoying this. You know, sacrificed a lot of shit, went through a lot of stuff, you know. childhood fucked up, you know, a lot. No different from a lot of other young black males, indigenous, FBAs, whatever everybody calling themselves, growing up in America. Okay,
yeah.
for real. You know, but like you said, it was some people like yourself, like who was sitting there, who was outside, but still was reserved. And then there was some people who was getting involved in shit, who had a hard head. You know what I'm saying? So it had to make a soft ass at certain times. Okay. So I had to get spanked sometimes. So it's not without like, oh, we was just so super nigga slick that we got all the way with her. Nah, it ain't none of that. It's just when I got my spankings, I learned I don't like that shit. I don't want to go through that no more. Not, oh, now I'm gonna get slicker. I'm gonna try to get, you know what I'm saying, and one up and think that nah, man, fuck all that. You know, because it only lead to one or two things: prison or a coffin. That's all it lead to. You know, and young cats will sit up here now and stupid ass young cats will sit up here, oh nigga, oh he don't talk, man. That's okay, young brother.
Okay.
That's okay, young brothers. You know
I
what I'm
just
saying?
want to live.
You be lucky if you go through as much shit as I have been through in my life and make it to my age.
Same.
You'll be lucky. Young ladies too, young women too out here. For real. You know what I'm saying? So this war is real. You know, and whether it's a psychological war, whether it's physical war, whether it's economic war, like the war is going on. What are y'all paying attention to? What are we paying attention to? And the goal is to win. It's not to play, not to lose. It's not just to be playing, not to lose. That sounds like struggling.
Invest.
That don't sound like winning. That sounds like struggling. So if we're gonna win, you know, everybody gonna die anyways. But you know, while you're here, man, you know, you wasted time bullshitting.
Ain't no getting around it, right?
You know, like, it's only your life.
There's no way you can not die. Like this.
Yeah, there's no way. You know, you was born, so it's kind of synonymous.
It's a part of it.
You know, and that's why as fathers, they thank all these fathers, because without balls and a penis, that's where we all start at.
Wouldn't be here.
That's where we all start at.
You know.
You know, we need the mothers too, though, because you know, balls and the penis are just useless without a vagina. You know, so that ain't nothing. That ain't against nobody's sexual preference or identity or gender or anything else. They take it up with whoever your God is or the God or whatever you call a God. Like I ain't make that up.
And to be more clear, to more politically correct, is not even the vagina, is actually the egg itself that the female has. Right, like
Oh, because you could just take that out and you can take some semen and then you can take that out.
You can just get a vagina these days. So like I ain't.
Oh man. Okay. Okay.
Since we was talking about actual life, you know, you actually need
traditionally
you need a healthy sperm and a healthy egg.
Traditionally, we need some activity.
Hell yeah.
You know, so you know, I don't know what technology is allowing us to do nowadays, but you know, I'm thankful for the traditional ways because I wouldn't be here today.
Same.
Unlike, you know, a lot of us. So for everybody else that came here some other way, you know, shit, reach out to us at Chef Earl Pearl at DBCHEFTV. We like to hear your story. Come up here. You know, shit.
Educate me, because I don't know.
Educate. That's all. You know. But definitely, God, that's really that's really it on war. I want to know, God, though, before we go this evening, is war bad, good, or misunderstood?
War is bad. War is bad. Cause conflict is not good. Antagonism is not good. Bully mentality is not good. Uh, being in a constant state of fear or self-defense is not good. Being hyper anxious because bombs are bursting in air, that's not good. The price of goods going up to support the war is not good. Um, it's just not good. Um, I wouldn't say it's misunderstood because it's pretty clear. You know, the amount of money they make on video games, and the more realistic that they make the games that promote war, right? The level of education that you can get from just playing a video game on actual war strategies and combat tactics, and the amount of simulators you got paintball, laser tag. You actually got the airsoft spots you can actually go to actually carry out and practice tactical scenarios and stuff like that.
Laser tag is fun.
No, all that stuff is fun.
That shit
all,
is
that,
that
all
shit is
that
fun though.
all
Yeah.
that stuff is fun, right?
No, but
But
it is.
what you're doing is practicing for war, right? You practicing tactics, right? Yeah, it's fun, but you real deal going through room to room trying to, be a soldier, right? Um, and when you take away the fun aspect and you actually look at that you're actually training, it's like, all right, to have to be in a society or in a situation where you need the training, I think is negative, right? That's not in a place of peace. Like you say, there was a time where you used to not have to lock your front door
Yeah, yeah,
and go all the way to bed,
yeah.
or leave your house.
Or you could leave your house, yeah. Because you had neighbors who would look out, let you
Yeah,
know if some people break into your shit or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh
yeah.
my God, that's what that's
You
just how
know,
I was raised. Like I was
yeah,
raised like that. Like
you
even
know
though
what I'm saying?
I was raised like that. So
Yeah.
so it's not like I'm looking to get some like owe me a favor type shit. You know what I'm
Nah, it
saying?
was
It's
just
just
we live here, and
yeah,
we
like
want our neighborhood to be safe, so we are gonna make sure that if somebody come through doing something negative, we will tell.
that's right. We gonna tell.
We gonna tell, right?
We gonna tell. Like,
Right. So
but we supposed to be calling the police for each other, not on each other.
correct. That's what I'm saying. We gonna tell,
Yeah.
right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I think war is not misunderstood in the least bit. And I think it's just all bad. And even the good that it stimulates capital wise, in my mind, it's still a bad. Even though even though I participate, you know what I'm saying? I think it's still a bad, right? So yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I agree. War is bad, 100%. Because there's no peace. Josephus said, or we had a comment, I think it was. Shout out to Josephus for pulling up tonight. We appreciate you. In the chat, man, keeping it lit. But it said that I'm pull his comment up real quick to make this closing statement. All is fair in love and war. And this is why war is bad, because of statements like this. Because we have, as a American culture, found a way to put something sacred into something evil. And that right there is what is fucking everything up. Like
it's so subtle. It's so
like,
subtle.
it's no eloquent way to put it, you know, y'all. If I could be a little bit more articulate, but it's just fucked up. It's fuckery, you know. And like, and everybody knows what fuck shit is, you know. Everybody knows what that is. So that's universal. Something fucked up is fucked up, you know, no matter your language, complexion, you know. So that right there is, you know, that's what makes war bad. And, you know, we need peace, we need love, we need communication, you know, and we need consideration. And I think if we had that more so than people looking for war, you know, or looking for what we say antagonism and conflict,
looking for that stuff,
you know, that more love will be expressed, more consideration, more compassion will be expressed. It will be exemplified. It's hard not to, because your actions are reflective of it. You know, so somebody could tell you some shit all day, but if their actions match their words, then that's believable. Everybody ain't trying to trick you. Everybody ain't trying to snake you, you know, because they don't have time to do that. They don't have, you know, some people don't desire, and I'll speak for myself, I don't desire to be truthful and loving and compassionate with somebody to turn around and stab them in the back. I don't do that, because I done had the shit done to me. Matter of fact, our shit is, most of the people that I stopped fucking with, the only people that ever fucked me over was people that I trusted. I ain't never had to worry about an enemy, because I ain't never let them get close.
Not close enough to hurt you.
No.
Yeah, you're right.
So the only people that ever got close enough to hurt me, to make me feel some type of way, to be upset about some shit, is people that I loved. That's it. That's it.
That's
so war is horrible, you know, and I get a lot of people haven't been around. Like, first of all, I tell motherfuckers, you ain't gonna never meet somebody like me ever in your life, because you're gonna think I'm arrogant, you're gonna think I'm cocky, you're gonna think this, that, you're gonna think all these things. But one thing a motherfucker gonna say, he ain't never lied to me, he ain't never did me dirty, he ain't never tried to fuck me over. None of that. Because I don't do that. That just ain't even in my character. As a human being, I wasn't born like that. Okay? So war is bad. And that's what we're gonna leave that at. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in this evening. Make sure to like and share this video. Also subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, so when we go live, you never, ever, ever, ever miss an episode of Cigar Sundays Live. We want you all to have a peaceful, positive, and productive start to your week. Happy Father's Day. Once again, we want to thank all them superhero dads out there from everywhere, the dads that wake up 365, don't never take no days off. Okay? We love y'all. We love what y'all doing. Thank you to those dads. And like we said, have a peaceful, positive, and productive start to your week, y'all. And we'll see y'all next time right here on Cigar Sundays Live. I am DBCHEFTV, always with the God Ali, Dawu El at BK Soul Farm, and we are the Cigarden Panel. Peace, God.
Peace, God.
This whole publication is all about going from nowhere to somewhere, right? Being able to stand on something so that you can travel in peace, right? So bksoulfarm.com, 1016 160 self-sustainability. Jump on the list and get yourself together, right? Because it is irresponsible to not even know what responsibility means. So get yourself together, food, clothing, and shelter, protection of that, support your interests, and live.
Exchange insights Sundays at 8 p.m. East Coast time with the Cigarden Panel. Smoking on words like two big nerds. Hosted by DBCHEFTV and BK Soul Farm at Cigar Sundays on YouTube. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so when they go live, you never miss an episode of Cigar Sundays Live. Sign up for the newsletter and shop merch and clothing at www.dbcheftv.com.